Welcome to the Jon Gaunt Show. Nice to have you on board tonight. Tonight, we're asking the question or demanding, Starmer, it's time to put the United Kingdom and its people first. Do you understand what we mean? You were at Jaguar Land Rover today, and you were so awkward when you were talking about how you were going to help British industry. All you did was tinker at the edges. Why? Which is why tonight's picture of you is you dressed as Austin Powers in a Union Jack suit, because you look bloody awful in that, and even more awkward next to an E-Type. The only way, and it's the same survival for Jaguar. Jaguar have gone all green, and look where they've ended up. Not selling any cars at all, and it's going to get worse for them, because now Trump has said it's 25% on Jags if they're going into the States. So they won't be selling in there, even the Land Rovers and the Freelanders, those kinds of cars. They'll be selling them abroad. A source close to Jaguar tells me all of their output at the moment is for the Far East, China, those sort of countries. I noticed on the TV today, they were saying, oh, these are all left-hand cars. They'll be going to the States. No, they won't. They're not really selling in the States anyway. They're selling now in the Far East. That's where the new economies are. That's where the new customers are. Pip Tomlinson says, I think Trump's actions will mean that countries look out for themselves more. I'm really glad you said this. With less reliance on each other. It's amazing how he's dragging Starmer, kicking and screaming to the centre of politics. Pip, you're right. And it sums up where I'm coming from tonight. I'm saying we're now independent, or we're meant to be, of the EU. We're independent of any other country. Let's bloody go for it. Come on, Britain. We can do this. Dark Angel says, hi, John. I made it tonight. Great to have you on board. Thank you for being here. But basically what I'm saying is Trump now has started this trade war. You know China's come in. He's now retaliated again. We don't have to be part of that. Just like we don't have to be part of the EU's response. Somebody should smack Starmer around the chops, like with a wet kipper, and say, hey, Sir Keir, we've left. You don't need to be cozying up to these people. If you're going to cozy up to anyone, cozy up to Donald Trump. We only got Brexit in name. Let's face it. Now we've got to change the situation. Starmer, you've got to put Britain, the United Kingdom, whatever you want to call us, first, and its people first. And the way you could do that, when you went to Jaguar today and you've dropped, some of the conditions around electric vehicles, you were fiddling whilst bloody Rome burns. You need to do something drastic. Electric cars are never going to take off, not in the luxury market in this country. Well, certainly not for years and years. And we're never going to hit whatever that ridiculous target is. I keep getting lost. Is it 2030? Is it 2035? I don't even think Ed Madman Miliband knows. By the way, where was he today? Did you notice they're keeping him out of the way? Rachel Thieves, the Chancellor, was there, but she wasn't allowed to speak. Every day it becomes more like North Korea. We'll have parades through London soon with them up on a balcony waving at all the cardboard missiles and the cardboard guns that the people are carrying. It's ridiculous. Keir Starmer, we're a small country, but we've always punched above our weight. You today could have put on the metaphorical Union Jack suit and said, right, lads and lasses, let's get this sorted. And you could have offered real incentives to the Jag and Land Rover. Look, we're no longer in the EU, so we're 20% rather than, we're 10% where they're all at 20. I know it's all 25 for all cars. We can offer a real incentive to international companies to relocate to our country. And that's what we should be doing. That's what we should be concentrating on. Can we get big employers to come here, and the brightest and the best, because we've got some superb workers as well. But the real start, and you failed today, was you should have said, we're scrapping all of the zero, the green energy, whatever you want to call it. we've got to put it, and if you don't mind me saying, it'll probably be coal-fueled, we've got to put it on the back burner, because what we've got to do now is survive. There's a massive recession coming, unless suddenly everybody gives in to Trump. And I'm hoping that's what they do. If you've got a view, just send me it, please, on the comments. But my view is we've got to go UDI now. We've basically got to be totally independent, right? Which means drop these ridiculous green taxes, the boilers, the boilers, the car targets, and all the rest of that garbage. I actually believe in it. I actually do believe we need to go more green. And I try to do that all the time. But at the moment, we're being besieged. We're being invaded. We're being let down. We're in a war. And I tell you what, I don't care about any other country's survival apart from ours. I say let's be more Trumpian than Trump. Let's make Britain great again. So the first thing to do, Miliband wasn't there today. That sends a signal to me, unless he's on holiday, probably on paternity or something. But if he's on holiday, fine. But if he's not, they're going to ditch him. He's going to get the bullet, and so's Rachel Thieves. Although today, Starmer said, no, I'm standing with the Chancellor. And he also said he's standing by those 3 rules that she made up for herself. It's just ludicrous. And they're the ones who are keen on saying the world has changed. You're right, Sir Keir. It has changed. Get with the programme. So he should take really bold action. We should ditch all of these green energy targets immediately. We should relax overbearing, usually EU heritage regulations. And we should make sure that our workforce is ready to fulfill any new jobs that might come in because of companies relocating. Don't believe me, this could happen. Look what happened in the Republic of Ireland. What do they call it? The Celtic Tiger. They took all the bloody jobs. All the good banking jobs are in Dublin now or in Ireland somewhere. They knew what they were up to. We've got to do something similar. We also need to reignite our industrial base. Ever since Mrs. Thatcher, we've become a service industry, which is good on one level because we weren't so affected by our balance of payments to the states because we don't make anything to sell it. But it would be better if we did make some things. So immediately he needs to stop attacking farmers. He needs to stop stealing their land so that we can become independent for our food. Are you with me or against me? We've got to reclaim our fishing waters. And up yours, the laws or the EU, you're not going to take our fish. That's what he needs to do. We need British jobs for British workers. And we need to skill our workforce, which might mean we need to change the way schools work because we've got to get the people to fulfill these jobs. And we should therefore only let in the brightest and the best. We have to control our borders. These little adjustments that he's doing, it literally is ridiculous. That's going to make no difference. Meanwhile, China is making more power plants, coal-fueled. They're doing train lines. Have you seen that new train line that's on the internet? They're not messing about. They're getting on with it. And then we talk about India. See, this is something else. I've been to India a few times now. We should be working with India and other parts of our Commonwealth to say we want to work. You know, those kids, a lot of those kids are coming to our universities. We're training them. You go to Jaguar, and this is not an exaggeration, a lot of the top engineers in Jaguar, and it's not just because Tata own it, it's because they've come to work here. They're highly skilled engineers or software people. Jaguar Land Rover I'm talking about. So that's the kind of people we want in the country. We don't need to subsidize blooming boilers. We don't need to tell people you can't have this, you can't have that. And what we also need to do is obviously, and you knew I was going to come to this, we need this bold, clear industrial strategy that everybody in the country can support. Harold Wilson did this, didn't he, in the 70s? But we need to move away from all that EU red tape. I thought that's why we left. But like I say, the establishment have kept us in there, haven't they? And so now it's worse than ever. We've got to take full control of our borders, our immigration policy, and our laws. I mean, today, can you believe it? There's a woman who left Britain. She ended up living with a jihadi in some place like Afghanistan or something. She's had a baby with him, and now the baby needs medical care. It was Syria she went to. She says he's British, the baby. I don't think he is. He was born in Syria, never been here. So guess what she wants? She's a jihadi. She believes in destroying our very way of life. She wants to come back to get the babies some treatment. Now, I feel sorry for the baby. It's not the baby's fault that her mum is a terrorist sympathiser. But we can't have her back, can we? But do you know what? Yes, we can. There was an immigration lawyer on the telly saying, yes, she's British. What's the point of having British citizenship if you don't help her when she's in a bad way? She put herself in a bad way. She went off to support jihad. She wanted to kill us in our beds or our aeroplane seats. It's not that other stupid woman, Begum. She's always Begum in it, isn't she? She's always begging to come back. No, bye, bye. And the rest of them. Chucks away, Stelios. I want us to be tough. That doesn't mean I want to stop immigration. No, I want more immigration if necessary, but of the right people, of all skill levels that we need. That's what we should be doing. A points-based system, if you want to call it that. But we can only do that if we're in control. And for us to be in control, Starmer needs to go to bed tonight, whichever bed he sleeps in, and he needs to wake up in the morning, pull on his Union Jack underpants and his Union Jack socks, and give himself a little bit of bollocks. And then turn around, just like Trump, and say, no, this is the way it's going to be. We're not playing by those rules. That's what I know. It's the most powerful country in the world, but that's effectively what he's done. Now, with him, of course, he's making things up on the fly, isn't he? So sometimes he's making ridiculous decisions, but he's allowed to do that. Do you know why? Because he's the president of America. He was democratically elected. He had a landslide. Now, Sir Keir, you're very keen to tell us that you had a landslide. I mean, you didn't. I mean, you did very well because everybody else was so SH1T. But you need to channel. Is that what they call it, the kids? Channel it and find your inner Nigel Farage. And I know it's a dreadful shame because you were so anti-Brexit, but how odd that Brexit is going to save your miserable neck. You're the most unpopular prime minister ever. You could have gone to Jag today, which is what you kind of hinted at in the Sunday papers, and said, I'm scrapping the green energy thing. I'm scrapping the electric car demand. You know where? I saw my old mate today on the telly, Danny Kelly, used to work with me at WM. He was on GB News talking about the car market. The car market's nosedived. It's done a kamikaze dive because people were being told, no point in buying a new tranny. I'm talking about van, by the way. You can't buy a new tranny because in a few years' time, they'll be obsolete. Now, they've changed that today. I think they've given us a bit of extra time for us to enjoy our tranny. But it's ludicrous. We're never going to be ready by 2025, 2030, 2035, whatever stupid date that Miliband has set. Miliband needs sacking, Starmer. You need to pull on your Union Jack underpants, find your you-know-whats, and basically get on with it. Sack Rachel Thieves. She's a liar. She's a cheat, and she can't do maths. She's not even as good at math. Are we meant to call it maths now? Or maths as Diane Abbott. That's how bad she is. Boot her. You need to boot her because she's useless. You also need to get rid of Miliband. Miliband is a laughing stock. The only person who's funnier than her in politics, unintentionally, is Ed Davey. the leader of the Lib Dems. But if you're not careful, he's going to get into power. There'll be some kind of coalition. We need you, Starmer, to say, I'm putting Britain first. And if you saw him at Jaguar Land Rover today, he's just stood there so awkwardly. That's why I found the most awkward shape I could today, using a bit of AI, to sum up how he felt. No, when I got him in that suit, standing by that E-Type, he looks terrible because that's how he looked on the telly. He couldn't inspire anybody to fight. And let me tell you, we're in a war. We might not be directly in the trade war, but we're in a war. And I said that before the weekend. We should be siding with Mr. Trump, not with Europe. He's still mad keen. I bet you he's got knickers. Sorry, he doesn't wear knickers. Who started that rumour? Underpants, which have got the European stars on. He's a Europhile through and through. He was hoping that because of Ukraine and him being such a statesman and the coalition of the useless, it would get us back in there by the back door. Trump has pulled the rug out on that, hasn't he? By having this trade war, by saying, I'm fed up of you lot in NATO and in the EU taking a mickey, not paying your due whack. This is what it's all about. And now Trump's been encouraged by that. And he's just going to keep pushing. What we need to do, we need a leader who's going to be on Trump's side, not on Europe, because the coalition of the useless. I mean, how much history do you need to know that they've never really stepped up to the mark? Russia stood up to the mark more than them. Oh, dear, John, you're going to get in trouble. That's nearly as bad as saying that adolescence isn't about black kids and white kids. I tell you what, I can't believe the reaction. I do wonder whether there's an inherent racism involved. People really wanted the murderer in adolescence to be a black kid because it's mostly black kids who stab people. They forget to say each other. And statistically, there's a kind of truth, half-truth under that. But if you've actually watched Adolescence, the terrifying thing is it could be any of our kids. And because it's a white kid, I don't even know if they thought about this, because it is a white kid, it has that resonance. If it was a black kid, you go, oh, blacks stabbing each other, don't want to watch that, not interested, not anything to do with me, won't affect me. But that boy could be anyone's boy, black, white, yellow, blue, whatever. And that's why he worked. He works as a cipher for it. And I just think, I keep thinking about it. And I thought, last night I had a load of people slagging me off. I thought, have I got this wrong? Because I'm not the Pope. I can get things wrong. I'm not infallible, and I'll put my hands up if I have. But I'm right about last night, and I'm right about this. We've got to all get our Union Jack knickers on, all of us, not knickers, pants, or knickers, and stand up for Britain. So, going back to, I'll come to your comments. Let's do a few of them. Loads of people trying to get on. Jackie Ward, instead of subsidising boilers, why don't the government subsidise people putting solar panels on their roofs? Yeah, well, they do sort of. But I've never really understood why they've not pushed that hard, Jackie. And why every new house doesn't have solar panels. I don't understand that. Anyway, Nigel Gordon says we need the Navy keeping migrants out and the fishermen. Well, you might be right, Nigel. But first of all, we need to have a policy that says you can't get in by the back door. Seems that Starmer likes people getting in the back door. You got to say no. You come through the proper channels, pardon the pun, or you don't get in. And anybody who's landed at Dover, that's immediately 500 points against them. You've got to discourage. I've told you the way to do this. We need to put the people who are here already, empty the migrant hotels, which you can do in a weekend, put them all in tents, put up by the army. Our army's brilliant. Have you seen them when they build bridges and all the stuff they can do? They're just brilliant. So we don't have to worry about it, and we'll look after them humanely, give them a meal and all that. But any new ones who arrive, quick meal, something to eat, make sure they're dry, make sure they've got some nice clothes or good enough clothes. Back on the boat, back on the lifeboat. Bye. Stelios, chucks away, sort of thing. We can't keep building the numbers up. Yes? Starmer is scared of Trump, says Roseth, 22. She brought this on herself. What do you mean she brought it on herself? But you're right. I think he's petrified of Trump. He's petrified of his own shadow. He's scared. Oh, you mean thieves? He probably is. Thieves has probably got something on him. There's all these rumours that Angela Rayner's got something on it. I don't know what. That's what people say. But we're allowing ourselves to go to hell in a handcart or a RNLI boat. We've got to stop that. And we've got control because we're not in the EU. Same with human rights laws. No, we're not doing that anymore. Imagine if Trump was faced with the terrorist girl who wants to come back because the baby's ill. He'd go, no, end of, boom, bye. Well, why can't we be like that? Well, it's because Starmer hasn't got any you-know-whats, has he? Mrs. Thatcher wouldn't be in. She had bigger balls than him. She wouldn't be in this situation. We've now got to grasp it. And thank you, Donald Trump. Thank you, Mr. President, for giving us this opportunity. Because I think if we reacted like that, Trump would probably drop the 10% as well. I just hope there's not a deal going on in the background where Starmer capitulates, accepts the 10%, and we're constantly a slave to America. I don't want that. That would not be as bad as being a slave to the EU, but it'd be on a similar level. No, we want to be a sovereign nation. We're one of the greatest countries in the world. Look at what we've invented. Look at what we've done. Remember the Atlas when it was all pink? I'm joking about it. But we are brilliant. We're a brilliant island race. And we can't keep letting people get on our island. We've got to stop it. And we've got to stop all this nonsense. We can't afford to be the lead. He was going on today about somebody's got to be the leader of electric vehicles. Well, you're right, Starmer. You F off and go and do it in another country because I ain't got any appetite for it. I'm quite happy to come second or third. I don't need to come first every time, Sir Keir. I don't. Maybe you do, but I don't. I'm quite happy. We'll bumble along with our gas fires and our gas boilers and our petrol and diesel-driven cars, Mr. Starmer. You go off and live in your little socialist utopia where everyone drives electric and everyone is so kind. Go on, F off. On your bike, go. On your bike, he'd like it, that, wouldn't he? You in the UK are having the same problems as the US. We've been ruled by a sack of dumb rocks. Stand up and be tough. That's nice to have somebody. Where are you based, Dale? Dale C. Mackay Godwin. I love Americans and they have names like that. You're right, Dale. We are. And you were governed by a senile old bloke who kept filling his pants. But we haven't got quite that bad. But similar, you're right. Dark Angel says we definitely need to get tougher. It's needed. Magpie 1972 says Starmer has got none. I think I know what you're talking about. Evening, Gaunty, with Starmer's reversal on the Green pledges. It's not really reversals. He's trying to make it sound like he's done sweet FA, really. Relaxing net zero pledges for the car industry. Is this the end of the madness? That is net zero, says Dunstan. By the way, how are the seedlings? I'll talk about them now. Hold on. But you're right. It is not the beginning of the end of the Green project. Miliband will be back with another crackpot idea any minute now. He's the kind of bloke who's got a face that's really been made for a baseball bat, if you know what I mean. I don't mean to be violent to him, but you understand where I'm coming from. Anyway, let's go back. So how's the seedling? The seedlings are great. She's coming back tonight. I've been cleaning like I don't know what today. I've been cleaning like an East European on speed. I've really tarted the house up, mopped the floors. Oh, I've done everything, me. Tell you what, I think I've still got the broom up my backside. And she'll come in and she'll spot one thing that's wrong. Just like her mum. But, I'm doing my best. The seedlings are fine. One tray, they've kind of bent over. What happens when your seedlings go bent? Anybody know? What are you meant to give them a bit more of the heat in the? Is it a humidifier? Another thing I'm talking. It's like a plastic, the lid thing, and there's a heated bit. Is it a humidifier? I don't know what it is. But do you give them more water? Less water? I don't know. Move them out of the window. I put them on the windowsill. So all the others are great. Just one tray. They've gone all floppy. Story of my life. Reeves and Silly Band, I like that name, Dark Angel, are liabilities. They are. I'd go and put them against a wall and shoot them like they would in South America. I wouldn't. I'm just joking. Britain needs a Trump, says Dale. God bless, we have him back. Dale, where are you from? Is it Indiana? I'd like to know where you're from. By the way, if anybody would like to help me out, I want to say a big thank you to all the people who have discovered this thing on YouTube. You can only do it while the show's live, evidently. You give super thanks, and you can give as much or as little as you want. And that all helps. It's all helping towards it. Otherwise, you could always buy me a coffee or buy me a beer, and they take less percentage then. So depends how you want to do it. Whatever's easiest for you. I'll tell you one thing I did find out. If you buy something whilst I'm on YouTube now, and say the way you tell if someone's been watching on a phone is if it ends in 99, i.e. 6.99, 7.99, 10.99, that means they've purchased it via Apple. And do you know what Apple take? 30%. So say you gave me $9.99, they take £3 something without even me knowing. Then YouTube take their percentage. I end up basically paying them. No, it's not quite as bad as that. But you follow where I'm coming from. That can't be right, can it? And where's Apple based? Ah, the island. There you go. There's a surprise. It's like Stripe, the people who pay my other money. They're based in Ireland because the Irish are brilliantly intelligent and have got ahead of the curve. That's what we've got to do. And up yours, Italy. I love Italy. I love the Italian people. But we've got to exploit our advantage, haven't we? So if you do want to help me out, buy me a beer, or it's buymeacoffee.com/Jon Gaunt, or do it one of these super gift things, because I like getting them while I'm on air. And then you get like a logo next to your name. It all helps. Please. Thank you. We've got someone who believes in President Trump. His name is Nigel Farage. Unfortunately, we've got to wait another 3 or 4 years, by which time President Trump will be gone. I'm not sure he will be. He's talking about changing things so he can do a third term. I don't think that's a good idea. It'd be too old. But I don't think we've got to wait 3 or 4 years. This government isn't going to last. They're going to collapse, especially if they don't do what I've just said, what I've just recommended. I'm trying to help him here. Take bold action, right? Not small little tinkering about. Let's move away from EU red tape. Let's take full control of our borders, our immigration policy, and our laws. We voted for Brexit, but it's time to truly reclaim our sovereignty and independence. I wrote this earlier. It's quite good, isn't it? Donald Trump's trade policies have given us a chance for the United Kingdom to flourish on its own terms. And how ironic that they're going to have to accept Trump. It's brilliant, isn't it? Nigel Gordon, give them a hospital meal that we send give them a hospital meal and that we get, then send the migrants home. I don't want to be nasty to them. If they're wet and cold and they come across the channel, look after them, put them on a nice clean boat, give them clothes and send them away. You're illegal. Sorry, you're not coming in. It's the same, as I say, with this terrorist woman. Why are we even contemplating whether she can come in? Why is there a British lawyer saying, I think she should? I'd have him against the wall being introduced to a baseball bat. I would. It's nonsense. My mum is in hospital at the moment, John, so I know how bad the food is. Thank you, Nigel. You know what? I'm having a bad run at the moment. One of my bestest mates lives in Weston-super-Mare. Don't hold that against him. He rang me up today and said, "You're all right?" I said, "It all sounds a bit muffled. Where are you?" He said, "I'm in intensive care." I said, "Why?" He said, "I had a heart attack." Well, I said, "When did you have that?" He said, the day before Nick's funeral. You know, my friend who died, whose funeral I went to last week. I'm on a bad run at the moment. I really am. He'll pull through. Perry, my other mate, he had a triple heart bypass, as you know, a few weeks ago. And he's back to normal. As annoying as normal, as politically incorrect as normal. So he's getting back on his feet. So Maz, all my love, mate. Hope you get better soon. And he won't know till Thursday whether it's keyhole or whether it's the full job like Perry had. Pull it open. Makes me wince, let me tell you. Really does. Where was I now? Oh, Dale's back. Our resident. Good this. We got a resident American. I say send ours to the middle of Alaska. Give them some lumber and nails. They're in America, but no free stuff. They can murder between themselves. Thank you, Dale. That's how he's going to solve the American immigration problem. By the way, John, I love it about the bat. Thank you. Make sure you leave her some keep. Who? My daughter. I'm so soft. I said to her this morning, she phoned because she got a plane at 6 o'clock from Rome or Milan, wherever she was. I said, I'm going to get you some food, and I'm making kedgeree. I haven't started yet because I didn't want to smell out the internet with me haddock. Smoked haddock, rice, eggs. Oh, what a fantastic meal. Big green salad with it. I haven't had it for ages. Shouldn't really eat rice, but once in a while. Okay. I'm in the south of America, says Dale. Good stuff. Tattooed taxi driver says, greetings from Slovakia. And then he's got a short glass next to it. What are you doing over there? And if you can afford to be on holiday in Slovakia, you can afford to send me a super gift. I haven't had one yet. That's what I did last week. Glad you told me that, John, with reference to Apple. No problem, Seaside of Mark. Oh, you did give me a donation last week. You did. Yeah, where are you? The thing is, buy me a coffee, buy me a beer, whatever it is. I think they only take 5%, but Apple take 30% for doing nothing. It's not right, is it? Anyway, where should we go next? Dormston Cook. It sounds like it's bad news being your mate, Gaunty. Yeah, I'm a bit like Jonah. Only joking. I hope your friend leaves intensive care soon. Yeah, he will. He's a fighter. He's a great bloke. He's a great bloke. I said, you'll soon be out on the booze again. He said, oh, no, I gave up drinking. I said, what did you do that for? He said, I just went off the taste of it. He said, yeah, I gave it up. I said, you gave up smoking? Yeah, I gave up. I said, what do you do? Subtle innuendo follows. That's Adamant, isn't it? What song's that? Is that Prince Charming? Prince Charming. Anyway, what was I up to? Oh, yeah. Yeah, so he's giving up drink. He's living healthy. And he's having a triple bypass. I don't know. There's no telling, is there? It's like my mate Nick. He wasn't a heavy drinker or a heavy party goer and lived a pretty sensible life, like traveling. God, I miss him. I do. I've been seeing him in my dreams. When does that fade? It took 40 odd years for me mum. But anyway. Right, where was I? Donald Trump's, so Will Starmer sees this moment. This is what I wrote earlier. Will Starmer sees this moment will remain a puppet of the EU. He's a puppet. Do you remember him? He was good, wasn't he? Always forever dreaming of a United States of Europe. Yeah, I think he will, which is why he's got to go. I mean, we should give him a chance now to implement the Gaunty plan. But if he doesn't do it, we need to get rid of him. It's just terrible. Why don't we just take control? Where have I used that phrase before? I just do not understand. Goody two shoes, says Adamant. Settle in, you don't smoke, don't drink. What do you do? Settle innuendo follows. How does it get into goody two shoes? Anyway, I met him. Well, I met Adamant. I also met Stuart, whatever his name is. I also met the big fat guy who was in it. Did he play bass or guitar? Marco. Can I name drop? I met him because he was a big mate of Simon Le Bon, before Simon Le Bon was famous. And when we were at university, he said, oh, you must come and see this band. So we went to see it. It wasn't Adamant. He wasn't with Adamant. And his name's Marco Peroni. Any guy who's named after a bottle of beer has got to be okay by me. So, yeah, we had to meet him. Interesting guy. And then he got in Adamant. The rest is history, isn't it? I liked Adamant. I had a soft spot for him. I really do. Showbiz punk. What's wrong with that? It's just what the Sex Pistols are doing now, aren't they? With that Burke they've employed. I think that's terrible, that is. Misrepresenting. Doing a tour without Johnny. No, that's wrong. It's a bit like the Specials. People said, oh, they're brilliant, aren't they? Much better than they used to be. No. Why not, Gaunty? Because they're playing it too slow and Jerry's organ isn't at the top of the mix. Well, that's because she's not there, Gaunty. Precisely. He writes most of the songs and they kick him out and that's all okay, is it? No. Not in my opinion. I gave him the benefit of the doubt. I went to see because Linval's a big friend of mine. Oh, he was, but no. Tribute bands. Don't like tribute bands. Personally, don't want to fall out yet. Oh, by the way, the people who fallen out with me last night because I dared to say you've been listening to some right-wing bigger Burks, you know, a badge of courage. They all say, I'm not watching it. It's rubbish. It's political correctness. It's woke gone mad. It's the government. Black kids are the ones who are stabbing people. I just think it's so stupid because you haven't seen it, so you don't know what it's about. It's not about the stabbing. It's about the influences on these kids, and these kids could be any colour. In fact, the black kids in the blooming series. You've got to look underneath because there's some some people out there who want to wind you up. They want it to be a cultural war. I don't. I want to stop nonsense, like can two trans guys, well, are they guys or two trans people are in the women's pool final at the moment? You see now, that's rubbish, isn't it? That's nonsense. What about the girls? Don't they get a chance? Fruit-based drink for the girls, for the ladies. Al Murray. Side of March, seen Adam Ant in concert in Blackburn 4 years ago. It was great to see him after growing up listening to him in the 80s, and he's still at it. Well, he has. He's got total charisma. My mate, Chris Dickey, he was in a band with Dill and people and Nick called God's Toys. They should have been huge. And they supported Adam Ant on that tour where he broke through just after if you know much about his music, after Dirk Wears White Socks, when he went more showbizy. They toured with him, but they got van madness. Evidently, it's a thing that happens because they were going around in a tranny van. No, a transit van, and they had to sleep in it every night. And I think by about the 15th night of this tour, they wanted to stab each other. So they broke up. They were a brilliant, brilliant, brilliant band. Dale says, well, we have the Mexican gangs over here killing people. Well, we sent them all to El Salvador. Yeah, I saw that on the news, Dale. We wanted to send some of the migrants, the illegals, to Rwanda, just as a deterrent. I wasn't that convinced myself, but since it's been dropped, I've been thinking that is probably a good idea. You wouldn't need to send many. But whilst we keep putting them up in 4-star hotels, you're never going to stop it, are you? So anyway, to conclude, I think we've got the potential now to take back control. But have we got the leader to do it? He would be able to have a huge sigh of relief. People might start thinking he's not such a big see you next Tuesday. They might actually begin to like him. If he said, well, I'm going to get rid of all the screen nonsense for a few years till we got a bit more money in our pockets. It's a bit like, you can't do the roof, can you? If you haven't got the cash, you've got to be sensible when you do it. You do it in the summer. Anyway, you know what I mean. Anyway, so he'd get popular again, or maybe, but also it would be us, British people, saying this is what we want. And Britain's a great country. If it wasn't, we wouldn't have every Tom, Dick, and Abdul, and Tom, and Fred, and Mohammed, and everyone else trying to get in the country, would we? We wouldn't. It's a brilliant country. We just got to reclaim it. That doesn't mean get rid of all migrants. Of course it doesn't. I don't actually agree with the deportations. I do agree that people who are here illegally have to go. No matter how long they've been here, they've got to go. But I wouldn't, this mass deportation, no. But anyway, just a thought. I'm going to leave it there. I'll be back tomorrow, unless I get slaughtered by my daughter when she gets in tonight. She tells me off about her seedlings. I don't think she will, because the majority of them come up. But if anybody can let me know on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter or wherever why some of my seedlings have gone limp. It's one little tray. It's only about this big, but they've gone limp. I've tried everything, apart from the Kiss Alive. What do you do? What do you do? I don't even know what they are. That's the first question I'm going to ask when she comes in. Anyway, if you can help me with that, that's fine. I'll be back tomorrow. It might be a pre-recorded show because I'm going home tomorrow. So I might record a show here before I go. I'm not sure. Or I might do it live. Either way, it'll be on at 7 o'clock. Hope you enjoyed yesterday's show. It's had a big, big reaction. But some people think I'm left-wing now. Okay. All right. I'm off. I'll see you soon. If you've got kids, give them a kiss, give them a hug. Hey, hey, hey. Don't forget to tell them you love them. And I'll see you very, very soon. If you've not watched it, Adolescents, watch it now. Bye.